Senator John Methu has once again brought President William Samoei Ruto under sharp criticism with a vehement reminder to the people of how Ruto is a pathological liar with lots of unfulfilled promises. Without too much ado, here's a clip of Senator Methu playing an audio clip from their promises that William Samoei Ruto made while visiting some part of the central region, which up to date were never fulfilled.
There is somebody alikuja hapa Shamata tarehe 23 mwezi wa 8 2023 alikuja hapa Shamata. Baadaye juzi nikasikia akisema wale watu kuna shida nao hata hawana akili. Sasa ningependa mnisaidie ili tupime kati ya yeye na sisi ni nani atakuwa hawezi kujua kupima maneno sawa sawa, kwa sababu alikuwa hapa na mimi sitaki mseme nilimwekelea hivi. Alafu bishop huyu ulisema inaweza sema kanisa
260 ambayo tutatumia katika hizi mabarabara zetu, na sasa tunakusanya ushuru. Ndio nimekuja hapa leo, hii barabara yenu kutoka maili 10 hapo kuja Subuku kuja hapa Shamata kwenda mpaka Kariamu, hii barabara tutatengeneza, na mimi nataka niwahakikishie mwaka 1.5 itakamilika. Mimi nitakuja hapa kufungua. Tunaelewana? Na hawa waheshimiwa wameniambia
kanisa Bwana asifiwe. Iko maneno mengine mingi ningeendelea kusema, lakini hata nyinyi mkipima tangia 2023 mwaka 1.5 mimi nitakuja kufungua. Wewe bwana majengo imepiga kwa barabara. Maili 10 hapo kwenye hali imeishia. Kuja mpaka hapa Shango unaona nani ama mimi ndio sijui kuhesabu. Hapo mwaka 1.5 state zinahesabiwa na siku ngapi? Mwaka mmoja huko lazima ikuwe siku ni 1000. Kwa hiyo hata kama mimi sijui sana. Kati ya sisi na mwenye ameongea hiyo vipi? Ni nani ana akili?
Well, from that clip, now, do we say it is unfulfilled promise or do we call it a lie? From what point do we differentiate between an unfulfilled promise and a lie? And by the way, you know, if you promised something and you haven't done it within the due time that it was done, that is when it stops becoming a promise and it becomes a lie. You know, when we always say this, people think that maybe we just hating on the president. Fine. Leaving it at that point, Eugene Wamalwa has now decided to shoot his guns on the ODM brigade, who are now saying they are on the broad-based government, by asking them, you guys said and decided to impeach the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua cause of issues shares, but as we speak, you are also trying to get those shares. So what is the difference of the shares that Rigathi Gachagua was advocating for and your shares? Here's a clip of Eugene Wamalwa.
In fact, nimesikia gavana wa kule Homa Bay, Gladys Wanga, anasema wako na NDC yao mwezi huu na wanataka shares yao kama ODM kwa serikali ya broad-based iwe nusu kwa nusu, 50% UDA, 50% shares za ODM. Na najiuliza jamani, kama mambo ya shares ndio ilifanya huyo Rigiji mtu wa Shamata hapa aondolewe, na si the same shares ndio hawa wenzetu wanauliza. So hii serikali ni serikali ya porojo.
Greater. We are living under interesting political times whereby politics is about interest. Politics is about what the leaders get, and it's no longer about the people. We are not doing politics with regards to issues that are seriously engulfing the common mwananchi. The economy is dwindling. The education sector is also going down. The country is being drawn unto the dogs. The health system has become a shamble. with the Shah becoming a home of scandals each day and each time, having hospitals registered that are non-existent, having schools registered that are non-existent, but at the end of the day, they get capitation and someone pockets this money and nobody questions about it. We have a regime that has been built in the basis of corruption. We have CSs whose hands have been deeply immersed into issues, fraud and corruption. But have we seen any of them being persecuted in the courts of law? No. Why? Because the regime of the day knows under which basis it was brought into power. Well, you could say that we are hating on our president and his people, but you see, the prejudice that is being done unto the people of Kenya is so immense that even if the next president is elected other than Ruto, we are going to take time before we restore this nation to its rightful place. Look at the system. If it is not changed, no matter how many leaders we elect into power, the same shall be happening. We have had a president whom every time is given the microphone to speak, it's all about promises and promises and promises. I'll do this. I have already set aside these billions of cash to do this project. But at the end of the day, do we see these projects meet the light of the day, or they are just mere words to sweeten the electorate to who votes for the next seek for a second term in office? That is why politics becomes so expensive in our nation. If you want to become an MCA, you want to become a governor, an MP, a women representative, or a senator, it is a big deal. For those who are already in it forces them to scuffle the public funds in order to get re-elected. Because again, the electorate are now getting used to the politics of tokenism, whereby you vote for the person who is giving you at least something, some cash at your hand. And if all of them are giving you some cash, then you look for the highest bidder. So our politics and our voting has been centered around willing buyer, willing seller, whereby the highest bidder takes it. At the end of the day, you do that at the expense of the development that is supposed to come to your area. So you tell me, if this man uses 10, 20, 100 million in campaigns, yet their salaries, we know even after the 5-year term, will not be equivalent to 100 million. Do you expect when CDF money is released for development, do you think it will reach down to the projects? It will never. Even if it does, then the project will be done haphazardly. You understand that? So, this calls for having intelligent electorate, educated, learned electorate. We need an electorate which can oversight the things the elected leaders are doing. We need an electorate with sufficient civic education, getting to know what are the responsibilities of specific leaders that they are electing and what it might cost them in terms of compromisation if they decide that they want to get tokens for them to elect a specific leader. Senator John Methu has just demonstrated to you how the president keeps on promising, but at the end of the day, unfulfilling them, hence becoming a pathological liar. You know, pathological lying, to me, I will consider it as a disease that needs medical attention. Wamalwa has also reminded us the same standard under which Gachagua was impeached, it is the same that now the ODM guys are using to negotiate with the government. And by the way, in the yesterday's Migori Linda Ground tour, we saw Junet Mohammed openly telling their counterparts in UDA that still they don't have a deal unless it's 50-50 on the table. Well, now you know. What's your take in all this? Give me your thought in the comment section below. If you're watching from my YouTube channel and you love content of this nature, kindly subscribe and press the notification button. So anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Khalif is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Dub Radio. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. To my Muslim brethren, Ramadan Kareem Saum Makbul.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Dub Radio ndio mpango mzima.